Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yasura Nandana Braja Janaran. Yasura Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yasura Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Yasura Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava ki, Sri Radha Giridhari ki. Jaya Vishnu Pada Paramam Subharavraj Kaja Jashuddha Shishi Mahar Dvaingai Sabai Charana Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Rupari ki Jai. Grantara srimadbhagavatam ki Jai. Srila Sanatana Goswami ki Gaura Premani. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, assembled devotees, all glories, assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Do we have more tables like that? Are there more tables like that? Should bring him a table. Are there more tables like that? Yeah, he needs a table. That way he can bring his, what do you call the notebooks? Like Raghunath Das Goswami's notebook and Marayi Gupta's notebook. Yeah, so he has his, he needs the table. He's got some pretty good secrets in that notebook, so he should be elevated. Transcendental vision. Okay, here we go. So we're starting Another chapter. There we go. I need to know this book. This is fantastic. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamadhirayat. So, starting a new chapter in our lives today. 4th canto, 4th chapter, text 1. Sati quits her body. Okay. Itavaruktva virarama shankara. Padyanganasam hyuba yatra chittayan. Suhrid didrikshu parishankita bhavan. Niskramati nirvishati dvihasa saha. Nitavaruktva virarama shankara. Patyanganasam hyuba yatra chintayan. Suhridrikshu parisankita bhavan. Niskramati nirvisati dvihasa saha. Sa itavaruktva virarama shankara. Patyanganasam hyuba yatra chintayan. Suhridrikshu parishankita bhavan. Niskramati nirvasati dvidasa sa. Anyone like to chant? Maitreya Vacha. Gita.
Parishankita Bhavan. Nishramati Nirvishati Maitreya Vacha Etavarupa Virarama Shankara Adhyanganasham Yantra Chintaya Sudrede Dikshu Parishankita Bhavan
Anyone else? Okay. Word for word. Maitreya Vacha. Maitreya said. Etavat. So much. Uktva. After speaking, Virarama was silent. Shankara, Lord Shiva. Patni Anga Nasam. The destruction of the body of his wife. He, sense, ubayatra, in both cases. Chintayan, understanding. Suhrit didrikshu, being anxious to see her relatives. Parishankita, being afraid. Bhavat, of Shiva. Niskramati, moving out. Nirvisati, moving in. Vidha, divided. Asha, was. Sa, she. Sati. Translation and purport. The sage Maitreya said, Lord Shiva was silent after speaking to Sati, seeing her between decisions. Sati was very much anxious to see her relatives at her father's house, but at the same time she was afraid of Lord Shiva's warning. Her mind unsettled, she moved in and out of the room as a swing moves this way and that. Please repeat. The sage Maitreya said, Lord Shiva was silent after speaking to Sati, seeing her between decisions. Sati was very much anxious to see her relatives at her father's house, but at the same time, she was afraid of Lord Shiva's warning. Her mind unsettled, she moved in and out of the room as a swing moves this way and that. Purport. Sati's mind was divided about whether to go to her father's house or obey the orders of Lord Shiva. The struggle between the two decisions was so strong that she was pushed from one side of the room to another, and she began to move just like the pendulum of a clock. Text 2, translation and purport. Sati felt very sorry of being forbidden to go to her relatives at her father's house, and due to affection for them, tears fell from her eyes. Shaking and very much afflicted, she looked at her uncommon husband, Lord Shiva, as if she was going to blast him with her vision. Pradakshati, to blast. Well, let's read the purport. Let's find out. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word apratipurusham used in this verse means one who has no equal. Lord Shiva has no equal in this material world in regard to equality toward everyone. His wife Sati knew that her husband was equal towards everyone, so why in this case was he so unkind to his wife that he did not allow her to go to her father's house? This distressed her more than she could tolerate. And she looked at her husband as if she were ready to blast him with her vision. In other words, since Lord Shiva is the Atma, Shiva also means Atma, it is indicated here that Sati was prepared to commit suicide. Wow. Another meaning of the word pratipurusha is the personality who has no rival. Since Lord Shiva could not be persuaded to give her permission, Sati took shelter of a woman's last weapon, weeping, which forces a husband to agree to the proposal of his wife. You said I should go to 3 also? Okay, one more. Bring it all together here. Text 3. Translation. Thereafter Sati left her husband Lord Shiva, who had given her half his body due to affection. Breathing very heavily because of anger and bereavement, she went to the house of her father. This less intelligent act was due to her being a weak woman. Purport. According to the Vedic conception of family life, the husband gives half his body to his wife, and the wife gives half her body to her husband. In other words, a husband without a wife or a wife without a husband is incomplete. Vedic marital relationship existed between Lord Shiva and Sati, but sometimes due to weakness, a woman becomes very much attracted by the members of her father's house, and this happened to Sati. In this verse, it is specifically mentioned that she wanted to leave such a great husband as Shiva because of her womanly weakness. In other words, womanly weakness exists even in the relationship between husband and wife. Generally, separation between husband and wife is due to womanly behavior. Divorce takes place due to womanly weakness. The best course for a woman is to abide by the orders of her husband. That makes family life very peaceful. Sometimes there may be misunderstandings between husband and wife, as found even in such an elevated family relationship as that of Sati and Lord Shiva, but a wife should not leave her husband's protection because of such a misunderstanding. If she does so, it is understood to be due to womanly weakness. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchikapadrupascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Bodhidhanam Bhavani Vyo Vaishnavibhu Namo Namaha. With your permission, I'll say a word or two. What time should we stop? For Sanatana Goswami. Okay. So this first verse is quite good. Well, they're all good, but I wanted to say a few words in that sense. It caught my attention that this is a little loud. Thank you. A little bit loud. Two sides here, Lord Shiva and Sati, what they're thinking about in this verse. Lord Shiva gave good instruction, but then he stopped speaking. Why? Seeing her between decisions. So, when you give instructions, of course, they should be good instructions. Satyam bruyam priyam bruyat. You know what that means? Yes, whatever comes out of our mouth should be truthful and pleasing. And also, one of the austerities of speech is it should be beneficial. I don't know if the Sanskrit is there, but there in the 17th chapter, Krishna explains the austerities of speech, of the mind and the body. And one of the, of course, it should be truthful and pleasing, but also beneficial for others. That's what should come out of our mouth. I've had the, this is all over the internet. I don't think they'll look at it. I've had the, I'll say interesting, I was going to use another word, opportunities to be associating with relatives for the last few nights who are in town. And being in a gathering of such personalities, it's quite interesting to see what comes out of their mouth. A lot of fault. They're not Hare Krishna devotees. So it's just interesting to see that it fluctuates between criticizing others and just useless topics like that. But that's what comes out of their mouth a lot. Yes, it's not at all pleasing and it's not at all beneficial like that. So, and you, as devotees, you immediately pick up on it. It's like, what's going on here? Why are they doing this? Even people who've passed away. You're never supposed to speak ill of the dead. I think there's even a saying like that, something like that. Is what they're not here to defend you themselves and whatever. So what's the point? They're dead and they're gone. So anyways, but Lord Shiva, he could understand when you're giving good instruction, and when you see the person you're instructing, they're not listening. Why continue? Why continue? Why keep speaking like that? Here she's between decisions. He spoke his good advice. But seeing that she wasn't accepting it, she was on the mental platform. You ever hear of the mental platform? Like that. Been there, done that, right? The mental platform. She stopped. So that's an instruction right there. And then as far as her, she was on two sides here. On one hand, she was very anxious to see her relatives at her father's house, but at the same time, she was afraid of Lord Shiva's warning. Two sides of that. One is it was a good warning. Something terrible may happen if you go there. So she's thinking, well, maybe he's right. And then also the fact that it came from her husband. She's supposed to listen to her husband. It's give and take. Sometimes the husband has to listen to the wife. Like that. That goes both ways. Right, Ramapati? Woo, you better listen to your wife sometimes. Otherwise. Okay. So what happened here, it says her mind was unsettled. She could not make up her decision. She couldn't make up she couldn't make up her mind. She couldn't decide what to do. And she said she's moving. You can tell when someone's on the mental platform sometimes by their bodily movements, like it's described here. She's going into the room, out of the room, in the room, out of the room, just like the mind. What's that called? Sankalpa, Vikalpa? Is that what it says? Is that the mind? Just don't know which way to go. Like that. Just as a swing moves in, like this, or as Prabhu says in the purport, like a pendulum of a clock, this way, accepting and rejecting. What should I do? Maybe I should follow this. Maybe I should go. I don't know. Now, we have the Bhagavad Gita where Arjuna was in a similar situation. In the sense he didn't know what to do, but fortunately, he made the right decision, which was just to listen to Krishna. Right? Listen to Krishna. And at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Arjuna, have you heard attentively? And Prabhu says he was willing to speak the whole Bhagavad Gita again. Arjuna said, well, I'm not sure yet. He said, well, let's sit down. Let's just hold on. Let's say it. I'll tell you everything again. Like that. But what did Arjuna say? What is that? Nasta moha. My illusion is now gone, and Tvat-prasada mayachuta, by your mercy, my illusion, and I'm firm and ready to act according to your instructions. Like that. I'm ready to go. Unfortunately, smrita, I regained my memory. Like that. Smrita, like that. So it's quite different there. And there's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita. I don't know if it's part of this next verse too, but it's about. The name is the next one. There's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita about this Tvat-prasada and about listening to Krishna and taking shelter. Here's a verse I wanted. This Machchita sarvadurgani maprasada tarishasi. Then Krishna says, Atat chet tvam ahankaran nashoshasi banangshasi. So what happens here is a very great, wonderful verse that Krishna says, if you become conscious of me, you'll pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. Then there's the other side. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. So this is kind of what's building up right here. Lord Shiva is speaking by his prasad, by his mercy, he's giving such good instruction to Sati. And if she would only listen to his instructions, Sarva Durgani, all the problems, Tarishasi, she would cross over. But not hearing him, Banangshasi, everything will be lost. And that's what's actually unfolding here. So the lesson in this verse is when we're giving good instruction, we got to take it. The difficulty is the mind is very strong. How strong is the mind according to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita? Yeah, more difficult to control, like the raging wind, like that. So my niece's husband was telling me last night they live in the Carolinas, Charleston. No, that's South Carolina. What's the other one? Charlotte. And there's a lot of big trees there. And they always blow over. And these are huge trees, big oak trees and all that. But the wind, these have these winter storms, and sometimes there's ice, and they just blow over. Big trees, just blow right over. And he's saying the law is, if it's even your tree and it blows over on your neighbor's house, it's their problem. Yeah, it's just an act of God. It's not that, well, it's your tree, you got to pay for the damage. No. Anything on their side of the property, they pay for. Anything on your side. And he had a tree once that fell over on his neighbor's carport, crashed the carport, but missed the guy's Lexus by about this much, fortunately. But that's the law. Like that. But these big trees, big rooted, and also the wind is so strong, it just blows them over. So how powerful is the wind? And Arjun's saying to control the mind is more difficult than being able to stop that wind. Sometimes it says in the Gita that carries away the mind, even a man of discrimination who's trying to control it, just like a boat is carried away by the wind, like that. You see that sometimes happens. The sail just carries it away, like that. So that's a lesson in this first verse about. So the point being, if we have an uncontrolled mind, we can't hear. Right? You ever talk to someone? It's like many times guests come, because if you're never brought up to control your mind, the mind's all over the place. You're just trying to tame the mind by giving them the holy name and some prasad. I think gradually the mind calms down. Then we can actually start hearing. But we can't hear good instruction if we're on the mental platform. Right? We're carried away by this accepting and rejecting. So Yudhisthira always quotes, Yudhisthira Prabhu, he always quotes this nice conversation he had with Jananivas. And he asked Jananivas about the mind and material desires and all that. And Jananivas told him that the real step in advancement is when we stop accepting and rejecting things in this material world. That's it. When we come to that platform of we get tired, he said, we get tired of just this sankalpa vikalpa, accepting, rejecting, everything for sense gratification. Then Krishna consciousness takes off, like that. So that's one nice instruction here. So we can see that it's all played out in this scene here with Sati and Lord Shiva. And in the next verse, Lord Shiva is glorified in many different ways, that he's equal to all living entities. Of course, then she's thinking, why if he's equal to all living entities, how come he's not letting me go to my father's house? If he's such a nice guy. That's what she's saying. If he's such a nice guy, why doesn't he let me go to my father's house? Just like children sometimes. Would you ever hear children ever use that expression? That's not fair. Right? The parent makes a decision. You got to stay home and do your homework or stop. You give that back to your brother or sister. You go, that's not fair. You're ruining my life. Like that. Well, even at a young age, this is the people I was visiting last night. My niece's daughter, when she was maybe 5 or 6, her mother told her to do her homework, and she looked right at her and said, "You're ruining my life." Right? Like 6 years old, you're ruining my life. Yeah, you're ruining my life. Like that. So the point being that she's misunderstanding. What does it mean to be equal to all living entities? It means that you're concerned for their welfare. And in every single interaction with everyone, you're simply speaking for their welfare. And for one person, it may be, just like sometime I may say, "Prabhu, wake up." Right? Another time I say, "Why don't you just go take some sleep?" So you say, "I'm playing favorites." No, it's better you go to sleep, and it's better you wake up. Right there. Right? Contradictory instructions sometimes are there, but it's for what's best for the person. So it says here, he's equal to all, one who has no equal, one who's equal to everyone, and also he's the soul in all living entities. Such a exalted personality, and she's thinking, he's picking on me, like that. He doesn't understand. He doesn't understand. Point is, he understands completely. That's the point. The spiritual master and Krishna understand quite a lot, just like parents, right? Sometimes the kids say, oh, you don't understand, you don't understand. Parents really do understand quite a lot. They've been around the block a few times. You know that expression? You know the expression in India? Maybe if you live in the city you do, but out in the country you don't, because there's no blocks. Been around the pasture a few times, right? Maybe that's what they say out in the Bengal countryside, like that. You have some experience. You know what's going to happen, like that. What is it that story Prabhu tells? What is it? Who's the poet? Kalidas or something, about sitting out on a limb and the guy sawing the limb between him and the tree. And he says, oh, don't do that. You'll fall, you'll fall. Ah! And he keeps sawing and the limb falls on the ground. He goes, oh, you must have been a great astrologer or wise man. It's like, no, it's easy to see that you can fall like that. So, okay. So it says in this, Dravida wanted me to point this out, the last line here, since Lord Shiva could not be persuaded to give her permission, Sati took shelter of a woman's last weapon, weeping, which forces a husband to agree to the proposal of his wife. Like that. So everyone's got their weapon, right? Children have their weapon. Sometimes it's sweet words, like that. The wife has the weapon, the crying. Everyone's got their different kinds of weapons they use to get what they want to get, like that, and just set up in that particular way. So it says a woman's weapon is her tears. As soon as she starts crying, everyone just like that. Forces husband to agree. What is it? I think there was some pastime with Malati, but I know here in SanDiego when they did the Popathon, remember the Popathon back in the 80s? Yeah. Buddy Narayan and Maharaj, but he went with all the Madhajis to Idaho or something like that, and they're trying to get in the van, trying to get through, so close so they could, distribute and so on, and they weren't letting in. There's a security check there, so he had this one Madhaji, Ratnavati. She moved to London. Ratnavati. She married Kundadi or something like that in London, to start crying about her husband being in there, like that. My husband's in there, and I got to, started crying, and the guards let him through. Like that. It's using a woman's weapon. Have her start crying. Well, my husband's in there. He's sick. Oh, God, boy. No. They wouldn't have believed that. Oh, my husband. So they just let the van through. Oh, he's got in, and didn't sing. So sometimes it can be used in the service of the Lord. And then the last one here. And now it's getting very, very heated up. She actually leaves. She actually goes. What is that? The verse in the Bhagavad Gita, the two verses. While contemplating the objects of the senses. How does that begin? Jayatet. Jayato vishayam pumsa. There, that's the whole sequence. What's going on here? She's thinking, oh, my parents, my sisters, and she starts her jayato. All the objects of the senses, I'm going to go enjoy and be with my sisters and my mom and this and that, and like that, and all of a sudden it just goes. It just tumbles down like that until bloop, she's gone. She left, even though good instruction was given. She goes to her father's house, and it says here one should actually listen. Because the husband is supposed to be trained very, very nicely in Vedic culture. Don't listen to a husband who's a nonsense. That's not what the instruction is. Don't listen to anyone who's a nonsense. Don't listen to your guru if he's a nonsense, right? Bali Maharaj, his guru started telling him, don't worship Krishna. I mean, how far can you get from the truth? Don't worship Vishnu. Don't listen to Vishnu. Right? So that's an example. Guru, your own spiritual master, or sometimes your parents, or your husband, or your wife, or anyone. They give you bad instruction if they're not. You don't have to listen to them. There's no injunction that, because what does Prabhu say? There's fool number one and fool number two. Who's worse? Fool number two. You know that one, huh? Okay. Why is fool number two worse? Fool number one says all kinds of nonsense. What can you do? Prabhu says just like a goat will eat anything, a fool will say anything, right? So fools are there. They're a dime a dozen, right? Just open your ears. It's all kinds of foolishness. Fool number 2 is the person who believes them. That's why they're worse. You don't have to believe an idiot like that. So anyways, where was I going with that one? She's not listening. Oh, no. Don't follow anyone who's a fool. Don't be fool number 2. Be very, you have to be intelligent. So it doesn't, that's not the saying, whatever the husband says the wife has to do. No. Whatever the wife says the husband, no. There has to be the guiding, just like Prabhu was asked in one interview. I heard in your movement the women have to follow the men. Prabhu said, no, we all follow Krishna. Men and women, we all follow Krishna. That was the answer. That's true. It's not just because someone's a man and women follow, or someone's like that. No. We all follow Krishna. So the man has to be trained very, very nicely so he can give good instruction. Now this may be politically incorrect. Should we turn off the video? But it's sometimes seen, and maybe it's the nature of women sometimes, to be, because of the softness of their heart, more inclined to mundane life. Of course, in Kali Yuga, everything's inside out and upside down, and everyone's in Maya. But in general, sometimes it's seen that if a man is trained very, very nicely, like that. If the training is there, all things considered equal, if the training is there, a man can pretty much get pretty determined and stay on the path and so on. So if he's trained up very nicely, sometimes if the wife is inclined to this and that, the man brings it back. And it works both ways. Women can also bring men back to the path too. But Prabhupada says here, because she was a weak woman, not because she was a woman, but she was overcome by the weakness of family affection, she was making a wrong decision. Nothing wrong to go see your family, but when you're going to land up hearing Vaishnav Aparad and killing yourself, probably not a good idea. Probably not a good family gathering to go to, right? If you go there, you're going to hear blasphemy of a devotee and kill yourself. Hey, let's go. I mean, come on, right? That's a weakness of heart. They're not listening. You're not hearing. So that's what's being said here. Like that. Yeah, so to be careful. And we all have our natures, and we have to be careful about them. There's a womanly nature, there's also a manly nature where you think you're hot stuff, like that, and you're proud. Like that. So I mean, we all have our obstacles. Conditioning, that's the word I'm trying to think. Conditioning is not that. So to be very, very careful. So it's all playing out here. So it's good lessons for everyone. So we should end here. It's 8:30. Any questions or comments, or should we just go right to Sanatana Goswami? Thank you, Janari. Maybe a lot. That's why they're monks. Okay. So this is Srila Sanatana Goswami. Today is his disappearance day, which is has been celebrated for quite some time. Hundreds of years, very enthusiastically in Vrindavan, especially in the old days. People used to shave their head, and when he passed away, I was listening to a recent lecture, all of Vrindavan celebrated that Tirubhav, and people shaved their heads, and because he was so dear, Dira, he was so dear to everyone. He was like the unofficial mayor, very concerned with everyone, and great respect and love for him. So that's the, yes. So up here. I'm not sure. I need a Sanskrit person because Bhava has a lot of meanings. So Srila Sanatana Goswami appeared in 1488, 5 years before Rupa Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami, and in a Saraswat Brahmin family in Bengal, because he was Rupa Goswami's older brother. So 5 years difference. Sanatan and his two brothers, Rupa and Upama, were always absorbed in Bhava Bhakti from early childhood. Remembering Vrindavan, they named the forest in which they played after Vraja's 12th forest. They called their favorite bathing ponds Radhakund and Shamakund. In his youth, Sri Sanatan dreamt that a beautiful Brahmin boy gave him a Srimad Bhagavatam. Feeling ecstatic, he awoke, but seeing neither the boy nor the Bhagavatam, he felt sad. When Sanatan began his puja that morning, however, Krishna himself, disguised as a beautiful Brahmin boy, came and said, "Take the Srimad Bhagavatam from me, always study it, and you will attain perfection." In Krishna Lila Stava, Sri Sanatana Goswami glorifies the Srimad Bhagavatam. "O holy Bhagavat, you are my only company, my only friend, and my guru. You are my greatest treasure and my personal savior. You are the emblem of my highest fortune and the very form of ecstasy. I offer my obeisances unto you." Wow. Just chant that before a Bhagavatam class. Forced to submit to the ruling Muslim government, Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan became ministers and lived at Ramakeli, but their real engagement was teaching shastras which they learned from Vidya Vachashpati, brother of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Pandits and Brahmins from all over India came to study under the two brothers, Sri Rupa and Sanatan, and were acclaimed as the crest jewels of the Gaudiya Vaishnava scholars. That's their night job. Wow. After the Lord visited Ramakeli and freed them, they renounced everything for Lord Gauranga's service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Sri Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis to move to Vrindavan and perform 4 services. I'm sure you know what these are, but I will read them. 1. Uncover Sri Krishna's pastime places. 2. Install deities and arrange for their puja. 3. Compile bhakti scriptures. 4. Propagate the rules of devotional life. Entering Lord Chaitanya's service, they resolutely gave up power, riches, and position to live in Vrindavan as humble beggars absorbed in bhajan. One cannot properly perform Krishna bhajan until one renounces all attachments both internally and externally and adopts a life of simplicity and humility. They traveled extensively through Braja, Mandala, discovering many Leela sthanas of Radha Madhava. Having no fixed residence, they would catch a few winks of sleep, no more than 1.5 hours per day. That's what it says right here, 1.5 hours per day, under a tree or bush. Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatana Goswami spent all their time writing, discussing Krishna's pastimes, and chanting Krishna's holy names. To maintain himself, Sanatana would beg some wheat flour, roll it into a ball by adding a touch of Jamuna water, and drop it in smoldering coals to cook. We should try this one day for breakfast. On Monday, want to do that on Monday? Didn't go so over so well. In fact, even in this pastime, Madame Mohan's complaining about it. Where's the song? I mean, if you have facility to make nice chapatis, do it. Don't. Oh, okay. But still, he's got a little off there, you know. Should be nice, thin chapatis. Okay. He would offer this bhatti, salt-free baked bread ball, to his deity of Madan Mohan, giving up all kinds of material enjoyment. The Goswamis accepted the poorest way of life as mendicants. They ate just enough to maintain their bodies. The Radha Madan Mohan Mandir, established by Sanatana Goswami, was the first one opened in Vrindavan by the 6 Goswamis, described as the personal extension of the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Sanatan is the ideal spiritual master because he gives one shelter at the lotus feet of Madan Mohan. The 3 deities, Vrindavan deities, Madan Mohan, Govindaji, and Gopinath, are the life and soul of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. The deity of Madan Mohan has a specific quality of helping the neophyte devotees understand the eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's the Sambandha. Okay. Madan Mohan means Krishna, who is so indescribably beautiful that he even attracts Cupid, Kamadev. Sanatana Goswami is the Sambandha Acharya who gives us knowledge of our proper relationship with Krishna and his deity Madan Mohan helps us overcome our attraction for material sense gratification, Cupid, and fix our minds on devotional service. Sri Sanatana Goswami spent 43 years wandering from village to village in Vrindavan. The Brajbasis would affectionately care for him, treating him like their father. With patience and concern, he listened to their problems. Then he would please all the villagers by his preaching and practical advice on everything from increasing crop yields to solving family quarrels. But it says here, you see what it said? First he listened to them, said this, and then he spoke like that. So that's the proper way to communicate to people, win their trust. And he was actually genuinely concerned about them, their Brajbasis. So they would always ask about their animals and getting their daughters married. Because that's the concern of a householder. I'm getting my daughters married and the cows and whatever like that. In his last years, he left his beloved deity of Madan Mohan with Krishnadas Brahmachari, his disciple. He did bhajan on the banks of Manasi Ganga next to Chakleshwara Mahadev at Govardhan. Daily he walked the 24-mile parikram, originally longer route of Govardhan Hill. Although he was 65 years old, he kept his daily vow of offering 1,008 obeisances to Govardhan Hill and to any Vaishnav whom he met. How did he keep track? So he just had this bag of rocks, and that was, it's amazing. I'm just, in case I want to try it, I need to know what, get a clicker or... Sanatana replied, "This is one of the daily activities of my bhajan. I must maintain it." "Since you are old," said Madan Mohan, "you may now give up this vow." Starting to walk again, Sanatana replied, "I will never give up my religious principles." Sanatana Goswami's firm determination to complete his daily devotional vow pleased Sri Madan Mohan Krishna, but in the loving dealings between the Lord and his pure devotee, Krishna's desire to please his devotee often defeats the devotee's desire to please him. So out of loving compassion for his devotee, Krishna stood on a large flat stone, Govardhan Shila, taken from Giriraj. He played his irresistible flute. The Govardhan Shila melted in ecstasy, capturing the impression of Krishna's lotus feet. Presenting this to Sanatana, Krishna said, "If you circumambulate this Shila every day, it will be the same as going around Govardhan Hill every day. You will keep your vow intact and not compromise your religious principles." Seeing that Giriraj himself had given the Shila, Sanatana Goswami gratefully accepted. One can still see that Govardhan Shila in the Radha Damodar temple for a certain amount of rupees. Okay. Shila, I said that, it's not in here. But I've been there and they'll show it to you in some rupees. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said in Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur said in Jaiva Dharma, Sanatana Goswami was empowered to explain the esoteric aspects of Krishna's manifest and unmanifest Braja Leelas. Sanatana Goswami made a significant literary contribution to the Gaudiya Sampradaya with his Hari Bhakti Vilas, Brihad Bhagavatamrita, and Brihad Vaishnav Toshani. In the form of Labhanga Manjari, Sanatana Goswami served Srimati Vishaka Saki and Radha Madhava's Nitya Kunj Leela. Sanatana Goswami's Samadhi is behind Radha Madan Mohan Temple, just down below. Srila Sanatana Goswami ki. So there'll be fasting till noon. I just kind of get a reaction out of everyone. srimadbhagavatam ki. Pizza and cheesecake will be ready at noon. Oh, no kidding.